Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about 11 major takeaways I have learned about this game since starting this Gotenks account at the beginning of the year. So for this list, I'm focusing on things that I didn't quite realize as much going into it, and as a longtime player, I still am learning and I learned these things. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I referred to it earlier in my weekly account update, is that Kyrotech is king when making farming decisions. So after you progress, a month or two in the game, Kyrotech starts to become a massive barrier, not only to getting Gear 13 characters, but pretty much any character that was released after the middle of 2019 approximately. They need Kyrotech even to get past low gear. So like for example, Dark Trooper here, he has been a gear 9 and nothing's a huge obstacle to gearing him up except the Kyrotech. You do not get Kyrotech very fast, and what you do is very precious. You need 100 Kyrotech to take a gear character from gear 12 to gear 13. And just check out all the Gear 12 characters I have that have either all or almost all of the Gear 12 plus pieces, but I don't have the finisher. Yoda, Hunter, Bosk, Wrecker is somewhere. Yeah, Wrecker there, Mace Windu. And I just cannot take them or justify taking them to Gear 13 necessarily because of all that Kyrotech. And then characters like Rex is stuck at Gear 11 because he doesn't have, because I would need 2 full Kyrotech, 100 of each piece. And they come very slowly until you can expend your Get 2, and before level 85 it's even harder. So it's just a piece that dominates most of your farming decisions, which is why you start out with teams that don't require much, like Phoenix or Old School Jedi, Imperial Troopers, where a lot of them don't have Kyrotech. So yeah, that is lesson number 1. Kyrotech is king. Lesson number 2 is that the journey guide is overrated. In terms of making a progression plan, your farming plan, you shouldn't really focus it all around the journey guide. Now, I've also bought into this myself, and a lot of my free play farming guides, all of them so far, I've started with like one of the first screens is showing the journey guide progression that you start in, but that cannot be your first and foremost priority. There's a lot that you don't have to go for. For example, I always built in Padme to my plans for free to play farming, but given lesson number 1, Kyrotech is king, I have opted to forego Padme as in favor of Qui-Gon Jinn, which is just galactic or Grand Arena focus, not really any other game mode. And I mean, the team is really strong with Padme as a lead, but for right now, there's just too many other priorities, and I've opted to pass on Padme for a while. And also CLS, I didn't get him for the longest time because there wasn't any real reward increase I was getting from him. I have him now, but you need to make decisions based on what team's gonna give you more rewards, not necessarily what you need in the journey guide. And don't even get me started on starting an account and only going for a Galactic Legend until you get that Galactic Legend. There's several other lessons I have in this video that'll show what you should focus on to diversify your account, but being tunnel vision on different journey guide characters is not really the way. You pick and choose some that will help you in different things, like Revan helps me out with Jedi Assault battles, increase rewards on a regular basis. CLS didn't really help with that, put them off. The exception is these early journey guide characters because they're so easy to get. I mean, only 5 Empire, 5 Rebels, and then Phoenix, which you're going to get anyway, and then actually, no, this is 5 Rebels, 5 Empires, R2-D2. So those are exceptions. They're super easy. But overall, you don't need to just make sure you're checking off boxes with Journey Guide characters, because also the marquee characters now, like newer marquees in the past few years, are so strong and pretty much better. Like Captain Rex is an example. He's better than a lot of Journey Guide characters on his own, even though you just farm him straight up. So that is lesson number 2. Lesson number 3 is you need a wide roster, meaning a lot of different factions on a lot of different character focuses, mainly for galactic challenge purposes. For example, this is kind of a bad example because I'm not going for Gungans. Like, there's always going to be, the favorite child faction that's new that CG is pushing in galactic challenges. But after that wears off, and for most of the year, you're just going to have normal factions, and that helps you complete these challenges more, which are extremely important to be earning Omega materials. And for me, I mean, I have a pretty wide roster myself, but I've barely ever gotten any double Omicron crates. And the sooner I can get a wide roster that is capable, the better. And also, there's feats where not everyone can do it. For example, they like to do this damage over time feat all the time. So Darth Vader is extremely important for that. I frequently see stealth. So my Bad Batches really help me out with that. Taking 8 turns in a row. Terminator train teams like Phoenix. So not all of them are good for every different feat, and the more of a wide roster you have, you can handle these different feats. And then also Conquest. I mean, it's a big feats thing. So here, for example, Imperial Troopers, Rebel Fighters. Rex fits this category. This is one of the reasons Captain Rex is so flexible. So the whole Phoenix team isn't Rebel Fighters, but Rex is. So if I can get the kill with the Rex, I can get that. Imperial Troopers, they're Empire, they're Imperial Troopers. That's why these two teams are some of the most important beginner teams, because they have a lot of different things going on for them and help you just get a lot of different things done, mainly with Conquest and Galactic Challenges. So that's lesson 3. And as I'm going into lesson number 4, an addendum to lesson number 3, assault battles. Assault battles are another really important reason you want a wide roster. So lesson number 4, and this is something that's dawned on me in the past month. I think the speeder bike raid is the new target for small guilds. It is one of the newer age guild raids. What I mean by that is starting with Crate Raid, they have all these new raids that came out. These 3 are legacy raids: Pit, Tank, Sith Raid, and the payouts. Crate, it's a very restricted roster with a lot of factions that are not beginner friendly. But Speeder Bike is extremely beginner friendly because we have Imperial Troopers and Phoenix. I have not done any farming specifically targeting this raid, and look at all the characters I have for it. And also, it is extremely easy to score high with barely any gear. For instance, I have used Ewok Elder at gear 2 to great success. Moff Gideon at gear 4 or 5, I don't even know what that is, gear 6. Akbar. With the statistical rework, they don't even have to have good stats. Like, you just need a few players getting... I think I averaged it out 464,000 each. So if everyone averaged that in the guild, you could get this 23.2 million box, which would make it more worth your while than like a Sith raid. I think it's going to be even easier than the Sith raid, honestly. And then you're going to need a little bit more than that average to get the 3rd box, and that's what my guild gets. And this is extremely helpful. Even without the tier 3, it's extremely helpful. Yes, would it be nice to do the premier raid every time? Sure, but it's a lot harder for beginners. As of now, it's basically impossible. I got a score over 1 million in this last raid. And, yeah, over 1 million. And I can't even get more than 6,000 score in this raid, even though I have several gear 12. So I think Speeder Bike Pursuit needs to be the new target for smaller guilds, and that is lesson number 4. And lesson number 5 is you only really need one good team before level 85 and fleets. So after you have one good team that can get you through Galactic War, then you focus on your fleets. And this is just, after I had Phoenix up and running with Captain Rex, at least at minimal, unlocked, Galactic War became easy. And then I was able to use some of my fleet characters, Jedi for me, Galactic Republic Jedi, to get through Galactic War. That's your main concern. I mean, until you hit level 85, you don't have Grand Arena, you don't have Conquest. These dark side, light side battles, you can easily get through them with just borrowing an ally's unit. Because all these nodes were made a long time ago, way before relics existed, Galactic Legends. So almost as long as you can borrow a character that's in relics, they can mostly solo these things. You will need a little bit of overlap, at least a bare minimum dark side team if you're going light side first, and vice versa if you're going with a dark side team first, but you really don't need much. One team can power through Cantina for you, one team can power through mods for you. Challenges are a little bit of an exception to that, but they're not too bad as you level up, and that's why Phoenix is that team for me. For me, Phoenix is like the dominant choice for first team. It's really good, and it's stronger after level 85 than a lot of the other options. So Iden is great in GAC. wipes the floor to Galactic War, but isn't really broad, isn't great at assault battles. Standard Imperial Troopers also good, but they do have more Kyrotech as well. So Phoenix is top dog in that regard, and you don't need to have a you're not going to get that wide of a roster anyway before level E5. So before that, just focus on the one great team. And lesson number 6 is you should only farm hard nodes on normal energy for a very long time. And I'm still doing this. There are occasions where I farm Kyrotech, but I use almost all my energy farming characters. And it's not like you're not getting gear. You are getting good gear from good characters. Look at this. So, stun cuffs. And this computer used to be hard for me to get, and it's very in demand. A lot of the characters you farm will give you those pieces you need. This is a piece that eventually becomes hard to get. So just the ones I'm farming as an example, this piece is hard to get. You're still farming gear, but you're getting characters, and it takes a long time to 7-star characters, so the more you can work on at once with, occasionally if it's a really important one, like Captain Rex, you might refresh the node and hit it more than once. You're getting further along. For Journey Guide unlocks, full characters being able to get to 7 stars, and therefore being able to get to gear 12. So that's part of how I've been able to grow so fast. This account's just over 7 months old. I have 2.1 million GP, no money spent. Raids are extreme help with that too for gear. So unless you're farming Kyrotechs, I think you really need to go hard on the hard nodes. No pun intended. Especially if there's something that's not accelerated that you need to farm, or a ship. I mean, as we showed here, I've been done with Django a long time. I'm still working on Houndstooth. So the sooner you start, the better. And I'm not even wanting to go for Executor anytime soon, but I will need Millennium Falcon for my second Galactic Legend, because I'll need Giant Ant Luke, which requires Millennium Falcon, which requires all these bounty hunter ships, and that's why Droideka is here. So it's going to take a long time to get these ships, so think ahead, start where you can, think a few months ahead of time at your hard nodes, and just stretch it out as much as you can. I do 3 refreshes, pretty much everything goes to hard nodes. So that is lesson 6. Lesson number 7 is you only really need 2 very strong teams to start doing normal conquest as opposed to easy. You get much better rewards. You get higher currency as you're going through the progression chain. And for winning each match, you're getting twice as much of that currency. And you basically just need to win, get through. So you can rotate between 2 good teams. I have 3 or 4 right now. But the teams that are getting it done for me in normal conquest right now, Phoenix and Jedi. For me, those are the 2 great teams I needed to get going. For the first couple I was running, my Empire wasn't super reliable. They don't have great initiative. Once they get going, they can. But a lot of times, with how fast normal conquest units are, I just got steamrolled and they all die. But Phoenix has great initiative. They gain turn meter from getting debuffed and getting hit, so Rex is going to get the ball rolling pretty fast. And Revan has a savior mechanic. Another option is CLS. This team has great initiative. Han shoots first. And if you have a Ruthless Swiftness or something, you can get the whole team going in a turn meter loop. And Bad Batch has decent initiative as long as you have a Fast Echo. But as long as you have just 2 and you don't do refreshes, you do 2 or 3 battles with one, 2 or 3 battles with the other, maybe alternating back and forth, and then let the stamina regenerate. You don't need a super, super big roster to start doing normal conquest. And that is lesson 7. Lesson number 8 is about Galactic Legends. So to me, one of the biggest reasons you want a Galactic Legend is to power through the higher ends of Galactic Challenges. So these Galactic Challenges are very difficultly tuned. It's hard to complete a high level with, even if it's a specialized team, you happen to have the right faction for that Galactic Challenge, it's hard to do. But as long as you have a good Galactic Legend, maybe Slicker, maybe Leia, you're going to be able to get a lot of key cards just by completing the battle. So the highest value feat is always just complete the battle. Going from tier 1 all the way to tier 10. If you can get that done, you don't need to get as many feats done. That's a huge value of getting a Galactic Legend. You don't really care about Squad Arena. That used to be a big deal. So when crystals were in Squad Arena, that's why you wanted to rush Galactic Legend. You used to want to rush Supreme Leader Kylo Ren to solo the Sith Raid and start getting better guild rewards. That's no longer a thing. You don't need to be a solo act. You're getting amazing guild rewards as long as your guild is getting decent output in a raid. So that's no longer a thing. Another good value is, Grand Arena. Great defensive holds. But I play a lot of players in Carbonite and Bronzium that they have GLs, they don't set their GLs, and I beat them because they're not playing or because they drop a battle on Savage and they set a defense that I could beat. So that's why I don't think you need to like hyper rush a Galactic Legend. I will get Leia as my first. That's the plan right now anyways. But like the value proposition isn't there like it used to be when you wanted to solo the raid with Springleader Kylo Ren. So yeah, that's lesson number 8. Lesson number 9, almost done here, is, and this is a newer one, you want to be hitting these new style marquees every day for rewards. Now you are not only getting some gear from the second tier, you are getting mods from the first tier, and mods are extremely valuable to a new account. And this gear is, it's still in high demand. Like this one, I have plenty of, but like I still need stun guns and Garbantes. While it doesn't seem like a ton, it's just worth the effort. You'll only need like gear 4 or 5 on the characters. I've been able to get this done with gear 4. Haven't even upgraded to 5, and well, I don't know. But yeah, as long as you can, just give a little tiny bit of gear. Level 30 is what they're at for me, but you really want to get these done for the extra rewards. And that lesson does tie into our final lesson. Lesson number 10 is Carbantes and stun guns are still a big problem. So a while ago, if you were pretty new, you wouldn't know this. They did not used to have Mark 5 stun guns in the daily challenges. They do now. So it used to be even worse. And they had Carbantes, but it wasn't the slowest. And also gear would drop in packs of 1. So it was like every piece of gear was like a Kyrotech. So Kyrotech, you just get 1 piece. That's another thing that's so painful about Kyrotech. But now it drops as 2. So they have alleviated it in some regards, but it's still a major driver. I mean, so many of my characters are just waiting on Carbantes. Everyone wants Carbantes. Another thing is the gold eyeballs that are high demand. So it's just pieces that are required by lots of different characters are still a holdup. So there's a reason not every old character I have is Gear 12 yet. So they're all not Gear 12 because I need a lot of those pieces. Chewbacca, Carbantes. So newer characters like Iden get stopped because of Kyrotech very early, and that's even worse. But Carbantes and stun guns are still an issue. Still not something you can just throw around willy-nilly and you need to plan for. And that is it. So those are the 10 things I've learned. I'm sure I've learned other stuff, but this is what I could think of right now. 10 lessons I've learned from starting a new account in 2024 and getting a few months under my belt. And I hope this helps you as well. Like if there are lessons you think you've learned or that I have learned or need to know, share in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps. And I'll see you guys next time.